I turned myself in on my own accord to try to get this taken care of. So I'm just hoping to see if I can get a bond today, so I can be home for Christmas. I paid the bondsman $500 to get me to court. When I called the bondsman tells me he's out of town.
I
I
don't,
don't
I
know.
don't, I don't understand why you're telling me that it's up to your bondsman to get you to court. That
I'm
looks
going to be
like
sitting
where it
here
is.
till January 3rd.
What?
I'm going to be sitting here till January 3rd after I've been sitting in jail 10 days.
The tension in the courtroom is real. The judge is moments away from deciding whether this man gets to spend Christmas at home or in a jail cell. He's in custody for a theft that happened 4 years ago, and although he turned himself in, just 10 days ago, there's a catch. He skipped his original court date, which is why his bond was denied in the first place. Now the judge has to decide if that one good move, turning himself in, outweighs the earlier mistake. You can feel the pressure as everyone waits for the ruling. It's a tough call, and honestly, it could go either way. What do you think? Should he get to go home for the holidays, or did he blow his chance? Let me know in the comments, and if you're into real court moments like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it.
How you doing today?
Fine. Are you Mr. Kelly?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm Judge Sanders. We're just having a docket call today. That's the purpose of this. And what it is, Mr. Kelly, is that's a 2020 case that you had. And apparently, uh, the state is requesting that your probation on that case be revoked and that you.
Yes, sir. So, I bonded out on that case, correct? And I paid the bondsman $500 to get me to court. When I called the bondsman tells me he's out of town. So I called Judge Sanderfield's office 3 times. Then I called the court clerk 3 times, and I called the district attorney's office and try to get a Zoom link. They told me they couldn't give me a Zoom link on the case. So I called back my bondsman. He says, well, what you need to do is start walking. So I called my attorney, Watts, at the time, and he said there was nothing he could do for me. So 10 days ago, I just got a new job working at Kohl's, making $27 an hour. 10 days ago, on Friday the 13th, I go turn myself in to Sedgwick County to get this taken care of. And then, I guess they finally just get a hold of you guys a couple of days ago on the 20th and said that I was ready to be picked up. But I turned myself in. I did everything I was supposed to do to try to get to court on back in July. I did. I mean, I called everybody I could, tried the judge, everybody, so my bond wouldn't get revoked. And then, I turned myself in on my own accord to try to get this taken care of. So I'm just hoping to see if I can get a bond today, so I can be home for Christmas. I did do my part of turning myself in and did everything I could back in July to get here. And I just want to get this taken care of. It's a 4-year-old case, sir, and like I said, I just got a $27 an hour paying job, and I just would like to get it taken care of.
It looks like back in June, your judge revoked your bond. You failed to appear.
Yes.
The court issued a bench warrant and a no bond hold.
Yes, sir. I understand that because I didn't show up in court, but it wasn't my fault. I paid the bondsman $500 to get me here, and he couldn't get me here. It was his duty to get me here when I paid him $500. I bonded out and gave him $500 to make sure I got here. And then when he told me he couldn't get me here, I called everybody I could. The judges' chambers. I called the district attorney. I called everybody I could, and it was all documented. And I even called Mr. Watts, my lawyer at the time, and no one could help me out. But now that I got this new paying job, I turned myself in on my own accord. I figured I should at least be able to get a bond so I can I'm trying to do what's right here, by turning myself in and getting this taken care of. And
First, I actually started to feel a little sympathy for the guy. But then he completely lost me with what he started saying. He genuinely believes that because he paid his bondsman $500, it's somehow the bondsman's responsibility to make sure he shows up to court. That's just not how any of this works. Either someone gave him bad information, or he's just pretending not to understand. But either way, it's not the bondsman's job to babysit you. Their role is to cover your bail, not chase you down, and walk you into the courtroom. The responsibility to show up is 100% on him. Instead of taking accountability, he's out here pointing fingers, blaming others, and talking about missing Christmas as if that's going to change anything. If anything, all this complaining might just be hurting his case even more. At the end of the day, it's up to the judge to make the final call. And while part of you might still want to feel bad for the guy, it's getting harder when he keeps dodging responsibility. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Is he confused or just playing games? Let's get back to it.
I don't understand why you're telling me that it's up to your bondsman to get you to court.
Well, I paid him $500 to make sure I got here.
How much was your bond?
$5,000.
Well, that's just the bondsman's fees for putting the money up for you. That's not the.
I figure that's
ain't
their job to make sure I get here. Ain't it their job to make sure I get to court though?
No, not unless you got some special arrangement with him, and that's nothing that the court has to do. And that's just his fee to make a bond for you, so that you don't have to put up any money. Well, all right. In any event, Judge Satterfield has set that as a no bond hold. She wants to see you before she'd even consider bond, and I'm not going to do a sideways appeal on this and overrule her. So
I can't get no bond?
Nope, no bond. Now, what they have done is give you a special setting, expedited hearing on your case. And this is for bond revocation. And it's at 1:30 on January the 3rd. And that's to be in person.
And Your Honor?
And no bond until that time. Yes, Mr. Regier.
Based off of the state's information, that is a 1 o'clock setting, but I believe it is an in-person setting on January 3rd.
I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, it's in person, right?
That is the state's understanding, Your Honor.
Yes, I understand that too. So, that looks like where it is.
January 3rd.
What?
I'm going to be sitting here till January 3rd after I've been sitting in jail 10 days.
Yes. Well, then I suggest that you do. I take it that you don't have money for a lawyer, and Mr. Watts had previously represented you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What you might do, because I'm at this point, I'm going to go ahead and reappoint him for you, is you might get a hold of him and see.
Ain't no way of getting a hold of him. I've been trying to get a hold of him for a week.
You have his number?
Yeah, I got his number. My wife got his number. My mom got his number. We all been trying to get a hold of him for a week. I've been sitting in Sedgwick County Jail for a week.
Well, I'd suggest that maybe you try to give him a call this afternoon. If in any event,
how's that gonna help me any?
Well, he could maybe file an emergency motion with Judge Satterfield, because I'm not going to overrule another judge here on that.
All right, so I guess we done here then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. You're excused.
Your Honor, could you repeat the time for the January 3rd date,
Yes.
please?
It's January the 3rd at 1 p.m. and she wants that in person. So I take it that means he needs to be at the courthouse in court.
The judge right here. I think so. He skipped court on a theft case. Turning himself in later doesn't erase that. Missing court is serious, and the judge treated it that way. blaming the bondsman. That's not how it works. It's on him to show up, no one else. And that claim about making $27 an hour at Kohl's sounds off. Even if true, it doesn't change the facts. The judge stuck to the law, and I respect that. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.